You're listening to the Quint podcast.
Delhi-NCR's air pollution is spiking again from poor to hazardous levels as Punjab and Haryana recorded a higher number of stubble burning incidents this season so far compared to the same period last year. As of 19th October, different parts of the capital recorded pollution levels between 150 to 300, with the winds from the northwest bringing pollutants from farm fires and exacerbating the already poor air quality in the city. It's the same story year after year, but is there any plan to address it? So far, there have been statewide bans on stubble burning and fines. There are also alternative technologies such as happy seeder devices to cut straw and sow wheat into the soil. But why haven't any of the initiatives yielded any positive results this year? Recently, even the Supreme Court had to step in and appoint a one-man panel consisting of Justice Lokur to monitor state initiatives to curb stubble burning, while the Delhi government and the centre are looking at Pusa Decomposer, which is a fungi capsule developed by the Indian Agriculture Research Institute or the IARI to prevent stubble burning. But how does it work and will it help? For this podcast, we spoke to Vivian Fernandez, a senior journalist who runs an agro-focused website called Smart Indian Agriculture, and Vimlendu Jha, an environmentalist. You're tuned in to The Big Story, the podcast where we dissect the headline-making news for you. And I'm your host, Shalburi. Amid the ongoing protests against the 3 farm bills, farmers are back for the Rabi crop sowing season. For most small farmers, machines for the disposal of the paddy residual or employing labor to cut straws and then transporting it are expensive options. But burning is a cheap option. Until 2009, the smoke from paddy fires was confined to Punjab, the state which has the highest paddy cultivation. But when the Punjab government passed the Punjab Preservation of Subsoil Water Act in 2009 to address the falling water table crisis, it changed the whole harvesting timeline. It meant that farmers started delaying the sowing of rice from April to June so that the seasonal rain could refill the groundwater and then harvest the crop by October. After Punjab, Haryana also passed a similar law. And that resulted in 2 side effects. One, there's a very narrow gap between harvesting rice and sowing wheat, making paddy burning a very easy and very tempting solution for farmers. 2, the course of wind inevitably brings the clouds of smoke towards Delhi. But CREAMS, which is short for the Consortium for Research on Agro-Ecosystem Monitoring and Modelling from Space Laboratory, which is an IARI initiative, has been monitoring the fires in real time through satellites, and they detected more fires this year. Between 1st to 17th October, satellites detected a total of 6,529 burning events, which are distributed as 5,076 fires from Punjab, 1,133 from Haryana, and 320 from UP. The data also shows that in Haryana and UP, the cumulative number of stubble burning between 1st October to 17th October were lower than what it was in 2019, while in Punjab, where stubble burning is in fact banned, the cumulative number of burning events are higher than it was in 2019. And officials are attributing this to the unavailability of farm labor this year due to the COVID-19 crisis. Yet officials at the Central Pollution Control Board or the CPBC are expecting a decrease in stubble burning this year. In a press conference, while they said that due to the early harvesting this year, the peak stubble burning season may not coincide with adverse weather conditions in the winter, Member Secretary of the CPBC Prashant Gargava also talked about why this September-October period has been noticeably worse than the last year.
2019 और 2020 में हमने सितंबर और अक्टूबर में देखा कि नंबर ऑफ आप देखेंगे कॉन्सेंट्रेशन जो है वो 2020 के सितंबर अक्टूबर में PM10 PM2.5 के कॉन्सेंट्रेशन कहीं ज़्यादा थे बजाय 2019 के जब इसकी एनालिसिस की.
In a comparison between September-October period of 2019 and 2020, we observed that the PM10 and PM2.5 concentration is higher than what it was in 2019. When we analyzed the data, we found out that there were comparatively more rainy days in this period in 2019 as opposed to this year. Why talking about rain is important is because it settles the dust and that makes an impact on pollution levels. In 2019, there were about 7 rainy days in this period and only 3 rainy days this year. Secondly, why the levels have been bad in the winters in the last year is because in winter you have absolutely no winds, and the mixing depth, which is the height above the surface within which a pollutant can be dispersed, that reduces to 100 meters from about 1000 to 3000 meters. These two conditions make the ventilation index have adverse impacts on the pollution levels in the winters. And we noticed that the ventilation index has been low this year till 14th October compared to the last. So, in conclusion, we have analyzed that the meteorological conditions in the September-October period this year were extremely unfavorable compared to last year.
Similarly, आप यदि अक्टूबर में 14 अक्टूबर तक का जो डेटा है, if you look at 1626 and around 13 or 1400 in 2020, तो हमने देखा कि सितंबर 19 जो हम डेटा को हम जो एनालिसिस कर रहे हैं, we're not trying to justify कि why it is so. We need to analyze the data, so as to plan our actions on ground. तो ये हम देख रहे हैं कि सितंबर अक्टूबर में इस साल meteorological conditions were extremely unfavorable in comparison to the similar period in the last year.
Gargava also said that with less area under non-basmati paddy cultivation this year, they expect a reduction in pollution levels.
इस साल जो डेटा हमें मिले हैं स्टेट से, जो नॉन बासमती चावल की खेती होती है, वहाँ पे बिकॉज ऑफ सिलिका कंटेंट इसका यूज़ नहीं हो पाता, इसलिए ये और दूसरी भी समस्याएं हैं जिसकी वजह से बर्निंग होती है, पराली जलती है. तो इस बार जो
As per the data provided by the states, non-basmati paddy straw is considered useless as fodder because of its high silica content, and so farmers burn it. But this year there have been fewer cultivation of non-basmati paddy in Punjab and Haryana. Last year, Punjab had cultivated 23 lakh hectares of non-basmati paddy. This year, it's 20.7 lakh hectares. Similarly, in Haryana, it's dropped from 6.5 lakh hectares to 4.3 lakh hectares this year. Delhi has about 700 hectares. So, due to 3 factors, less cultivation of non-basmati paddy, government initiatives, and an early harvesting, we are expecting that, God willing, the peel contribution of stubble may not coincide with the peak adverse meteorological conditions in Delhi.
So we are expecting, God willing, we are expecting that, this time, the peak contribution of stubble may not coincide with the peak adverse meteorology in Delhi.
Now, according to the Indian Express, despite the statewide ban in Punjab, the Punjab Remote Sensing Centre at the Punjab Agricultural University, which is in Ludhiana, recorded the most farm fire in the state since 2016. In fact, it's increased by 3 times this year, despite the Punjab Pollution Control Board imposing fines of rupees 25.7 lakhs in 961 cases of stubble burning. While this puts the onus of the problem on the poor farmer, what initiatives have the governments taken on their part to encourage alternative methods? Every year, as the already unhealthy pollution levels in Delhi-NCR get aggravated in the stubble burning season, the situation turns into a political blame game instead of well-thought-out sustainable plans. While Delhi, Punjab and the centre all remain at odds with each other, Union Minister Prakash Javadekar and Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal are focusing on scaling up the production of the much-hyped new tech Pusa Decomposer capsules developed by IARI. This is basically a bio-decomposer capsule with a mix of 7 fungi that can produce enzymes to break down the components of paddy straw. It costs about Rs 20 for 4 capsules according to a report on Scroll, but the application is not as simple as just pouring the contents onto the soil. The process could take as long as 2 weeks because it involves mixing jaggery and gram flour and boiling water along with the contents of the capsule, and then all this will have to be left in a dark room for the fungus to grow on the solution, and then the quantity of the solution will have to be gradually increased over days. Now, 6 companies have been given the license to start production, and Delhi especially wants to be the quote-unquote role model in implementing it, as Delhi Environment Minister Gopal Rai puts it, and the state government has already registered more than 8,000 farmers for this initiative. But how useful will the Pusa Decomposer be really? We spoke to Vivian Fernandez, who says that it might not help at all. Listen to him explain why.
Compressing the time available for wheat growers to plant wheat after the paddy harvesting season is over. Because if the fungal spray is sprayed on the straw that is left in the field, it takes about 3 months for it to decompose. And farmers have just about 1 month to plant wheat, and this time because of the labor shortage, the the paddy planting season was pushed backward, and that is why they have a shorter time still. So I don't think the Pusa Decomposer will help in curbing paddy stubble burning, because to be effective, it has to degrade the straw or at least make it brittle within a very short period of about 1 or 2 weeks. That this decomposer does not do.
Other than this, some more alternate methods are also available to replace stubble burning, Mr. Fernandez says. He says that microbial decomposition methods have been thought of before 2015.
See, we have had effective means of dealing with paddy stubble burning from 2015. Microbial methods of dealing with paddy straw were thought of before 2015, both by Punjab Agricultural University and the Indian Agricultural Research Institute of Pusa Institute before 2015. Since then, we have a device called the Happy Seeder, which can plant wheat in straw that is left in the field after it has been spread by combine harvesters, which are now supposed to be mandatorily equipped with a straw management device that chops the paddy straw after threshing and spreads it evenly across the field. So this microbial decomposition method was thought of before 2015. Since then, events have overtaken, and we have good methods of dealing with paddy stubble without burning it. Last year, a device called the Super Feeder was introduced. Yeah. Now, this combines the job of a rotavator, and it stops the straw and then buries it in the ground, and also does the wheat planting side by side. So we have effective means of dealing with paddy stubble without burning it, and currently these non-burn methods cover about 17% of Punjab's paddy area.
See, ideally what should happen? I should be able to spray it, it should decompose quickly, and then I should be able to use conventional methods of sowing, planting wheat, which is a conventional seed drill. Okay. Now, the conventional seed drill does not work because the straw will choke up the machine.
Right.
So that is why you need a happy seeder. Now, if you're going to use a happy seeder, there is no need to spray the fungal solution.
But it's one thing to come up with alternatives and another thing to actually work with farmers and encourage them to choose these methods over others. How much do farmers know about the Pusa Decomposer method to be able to utilize that option? That we don't know yet, but why happy seeders haven't been successful yet is because farmers remain skeptical of using it, and there are several reasons for it. One, the high price tag associated with them has discouraged their usage in Punjab's agricultural economy. According to farmers, a single happy seeder machine costs over rupees 1.5 lakhs, and it's too expensive to buy, even after a 50% subsidy. Two, farmers say that these machines can only be driven around by tractors above 65 horsepower, while most farmers use low-power tractors which do not even exceed 45 horsepower. Even if these powerful tractors are hired from the local cooperatives, farmers would have to bear the fuel expenses themselves. Three, according to a report on The Wire, the government of Punjab distributed 24,000 tractor-mounted happy seeders, but the state needs 50,000 of them. However, although most of the initiatives on pollution control has been largely around stubble burning, experts and even Mr. Javadekar says that stubble burning is only one of the contributors of air pollution in the capital. Transport emissions, open burning of waste, construction work, industry emissions are all contributors to the pollution levels that is only aggravated by stubble burning. And as the last few years show, pollution in Delhi is not a seasonal affair anymore, but an all year round problem. But are the states and the centre making policy level changes to address it? Mr. Vimlendu Jha says that in focusing only on stubble burning, authorities are ignoring the elephant in the room.
If you look at stubble burning and crop burning, these are episodic, which basically means that it's like an event that happens for 15 to 30 days at tops, 45 days in a year. And of course, it has a great contribution, as in that ranges from, on any particular day, it could be 1% to almost 30%, and that's what different studies keep telling us. But the other sources of pollution, which are continuous, which are throughout the year, 365 days, somewhere right now in this entire political blame game, those continuous sources of pollution, which is largely the vehicles that we're talking about, almost 10 million vehicles that Delhi has, the construction demolition dust that is actually coming out of unregulated, haphazard construction activities in and around Delhi, the bad transplantation policy, open burning of garbage, those issues, which are actual systemic issues, those are the issues that will actually have a long-term impact on, air pollution regime or really cleaning the air, that completely gets ignored. So everyone very conveniently looks at a narrative called stubble burning because it's visible. It also puts the blame on someone else, which is the poor farmer. And of course, that needs to be stopped. But there are certain reasons why those stubble burning continues every year in that sense. So to solely focus on one cause when we know that that's like a very small percentage on any given day, and that's only during these months of October and November, and to very conveniently ignore those big elephant in the room is very, very unfortunate.
If you like listening to this episode, please subscribe to the Big Story playlist for episodic updates. They're live on Apple, Google Podcast, Spotify, JioSaavn, and most of the other popular podcast streaming platforms. For other podcasts, please log on to the Quint website and check out the podcast section. For any feedback, shoot an email to podcasts@thequint.com.
Thanks for listening. Log on to the Quint's website and check out our other podcasts.